Hello everyone, I'm Extra Cheesy 87 and this is Let's Play Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Part 24. In the previous video we finished up the initial investigation period for the final chapter, slash episode, slash part, and now we're going to do a trial. Good morning. Yep, that's generally how most of my conversations go too. So you're Vera, right? I'm Trucy Wright. That's right with a W, but not right? Might actually be my favorite sentence in the game. Yeah, that's pretty good. It didn't make me laugh or even chuckle, but it's like on an intellectual level, I like it. Like this is what my face looked like, but like in my mind, I'm like, that's a good sentence. We're on your side, maybe. You can tell us anything, please. Good morning. She speaks! She's already spoken. I mean, she's spoken several times. She just hasn't said anything of importance yet. Not bad, not bad. I think you do better with a little smile, you know? You're so pretty, you need to sell yourself, you know? Don't tell people to smile for Trucy, that's toxic. Trucy, let's take it easy for starters. Oh no. Okay. Thank you for taking my case. Okay. That's a start, I guess. Here she goes with the nail polish again. Okay, so that hand comes out. Okay, when you said this was nail polish, I was really confused. But okay, I see now that that's supposed to be like a little, the brush comes out and it just has a hand. That's great, really, it's so cultured. Now it has been a day since we started, since the last video. So one second, what all do we have again? Like evidence-wise, just to refamiliarize myself. Like what have we learned? I feel like we haven't really learned anything. Dude made fake art. He sold art to bad people, especially long time ago. Yeah. Okay. And then there's the magic stuff and whatever happened 7 years ago that will maybe come into play. Well, presumably. Oh, really? Girls. The hell's that supposed to mean, Apollo? The victim, Drew Misham, was a forger. I still feel like this is just the last guy, but his face is slightly different, right? Like I feel like this is just the image of the Pal Maractus dude, but just his face is like smudgy, and his hair's different. And a stolen painting was found in his studio. A life of crime, really? And maybe one that led to his death. Maybe he was just old. Maybe he just had like one of those rare caffeine overdoses. You know? It was actually his 1000th cup of coffee that day, and he died of natural causes. Because, I mean, in a way, caffeine is a poison. I mean, you know, the amount that's typically in anything you eat or drink is so small that it's not really going to do anything. But if you eat like some raw caffeine, your ass is grass. Oh, we will now begin the trial of... Why am I here? Vera Misham? Is the judge okay? Hey, he's just having a stroke. It's no big deal. His voice all raspy, and he's looking around all nervous like. Repercussions of today's trial most likely be felt for a long time. It may indeed alter our legal system forever. They're trying to fire me, damn it. My easy, cushy job for life is at risk. I might get replaced by a common Joe. Today is a test of the juris system, and the first step towards a new order in our courts. But you said that we already had it. Daddy's secret mission. The jurors will function like a jury. Yeah, that's it. It's hoped their inclusion will help the courts to better reflect the people's will. But Gavin, don't you know the people are morons? Why aren't there any jurists in the courtroom? The art department blew all their budget on the last case and the musical sequence. So just pretend they're there. 3 closed-circuit cameras watch this courtroom at all times. The jurors have access to everything that transpires. Jurists! Judge Well and Judge Cool. Now see here, Prosecutor Gavin. I was gonna say that. My apologies, sir, Judge. Jurists, today, Judge Stage trial Cooley, if you would be so kind. The jurists are unbound by the letter of the law. They don't affect the trial with evidence, but by their feelings. We're about to find out what effect they're going to have. What do you mean? Like, you gonna act like the judge doesn't affect his decisions by feelings? You gonna look at this motherfucker on the screen right now and tell me that his feelings don't impact the verdicts? Come on, man. I mean, it's not really that different. I mean, the problem with both systems is that they both kind of suck ass. Like, jury systems kind of suck, and then sole judgeships also really suck. And in theory, I see what they're going for. Like, what if we do both? And the answer is that it probably still kind of sucks. It's kind of like a system that doesn't really have like a good solution at all. You're just like fighting for which one is like less bad. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin, details of the case if you would. The victim is the painter, Drew Misham. He was killed in his own studio. His coffee was poisoned by whom, you ask? By none other than the defendant, Vera Misham. Now, do we have any evidence other than the fact that she lived in the house? No. Well, there wasn't any poison in the coffee. A chung. Someone has been doing their homework. Indeed, poison was not present in the coffee, but on the mug itself. A mug? Ah, residue was found on the rim, I see. The autopsy report describes the manner of our victim's death. The court accepts this as evidence. Okay. What's it say? According to this report, I'll read it, her judge. Estimated time of death, 9 to 9:30. That's just like the last guy. It won't be important. 52? He's 52. Atraquine poisoning? Didn't say she was like young. I mean, it's not that crazy of a gap. I mean, having a kid in like your 30s, but pretty standard, I suppose, or well, somewhat standard. Victim's death was caused by atraquine poisoning. Chemical compound that does not occur naturally. Lethal dosage is a mere 0.002 milligrams. The touch of atraquine in the body is the touch of the Reaper's scythe. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin, you represent your witness. Hopefully it don't end up being the murder like every other case I've ever been in. I have for you today a simple man for a simple case. A man who witnessed the murder in its entirety. A journalist, no doubt. The witness will state his name and occupation. Oh, his head's a brush. His hair is a brush, too.
Alright. Well, for starters, my name's Spark Brushel. My job is a lone observer of the world.
In other words, a freelance journalist, right?
If you don't mind, I'd like to state something here for the record.
Yes, Mr. Brushel?
I dislike conclusions, specifically the jumping to aspect of conclusions. Preconceptions make Park a sandbox of endless desert waste. End quote.
But you are a journalist. You said so yourself yesterday.
Well, that's true, yes. But you must understand, I stand before you today, a man with a dream. I'm offering you my testimony in exchange for exclusive rights to the story. Scoop turns Mr. Brushel into that Mr. Brushel. End quote.
Yeah, let's hear your testimony, shall we? At this point, I'm not even fazed by these fucking weirdos you guys keep bringing into my court. Simple case, eh, Gavin? For me, the jury is still out.
I visited that studio around 9 o'clock that night to do the interview. You first outsidered into the Altair. Journalistic history made. End quote. Yeah, I used the word Altair. You fucking jelly nerd. His daughter brought us coffee right after we started. And you know what happened next? Star Falls, end quote. No one else entered the room besides her the whole time.
That does sound like a simple case. Unless you were the one who poisoned him.
What are you saying, Judge?
I gotta remind you, the cameras are rolling today. I felt the need to be a bit dramatic. You didn't do it, did you?
Me do a thing like that? Come on, that's like newsmaker making the news, end quote. Or even contemporary witch hunt, end quote. I know, wild accusations rock courtroom, end quote.
Rock indeed. Rock, flag, and eagle, right, buddy? Prosecutor Gavin shows like he's having fun. I'm so happy for him. Very well. Mr. Justice, your cross-examination, please. I mean, the sentence that seems the most rife for contradictions would be the last one about nobody entered the room, but we'll go through step by step. 9 o'clock at night. Isn't that a little late for an interview?
If the great painter Drew Misham says come at 9, believe you me, I go at 9. The first and, as it turned out, last interview was such a prolific painter. You may be wondering, why have you never heard of him before? Well, he was real prolific. We promise.
Right, can you tell us what it was like when you arrived? You're being pressed? You were the first reporter ever in Drew's studio.
Posterity will look back on that night as a turning point in journalistic history.
No, it won't.
A basically insignificant step for all mankind.
Yeah, that's pretty close, actually.
But a giant step for that Brushel guy. End quote.
No one on the outside ever had access to the studio. Then it would serve to reason that the deed was done by an insider. By which he means Vera did it. So how did this epoch-making interview go? Would you mind being a little more specific?
Oh wait, let me tell you, I enjoy a cuppa. In fact, it all began when I was in the 3rd grade. No, wait, 4th grade.
That's not what I meant. I believe I know what her forehead is driving at. This coffee the victim was served. Did anyone other than the defendant touch it?
Right, that's what I was gonna say, really. Well, now, if you've got a question to ask, you best straight up ask it. That's what I tell all the news recruits. Several times if necessary. Write for a grade schooler? That's my motto. Which isn't to say I can only write at a grade school level, mind you.
Who touched the coffee?
Dunno. I was in the back, looking at the studio's equipment when she served it.
And what happened next?
Star falls.
What's this about a star falling?
Star falls, huh? It's like an old telegram. Send money, over. Zowie! You don't know, that's like a journalism code word. An important personage passes away. A star falls, get it?
But there's no gravity in space, is there? What the fuck did you just say to me, Trucy? Trucy. What? I mean, I kinda know what you mean, but like... Yeah, Trucy, there's gravity in space. I'll let you in on the secret. There's gravity everywhere.
I wouldn't think stars could fall, really.
Does this matter?
Oh boy, this is good stuff, good stuff. How about star breaks? Nah, lacks punch. I love punch, especially the Hawaiian variety. I know, star dies. Nah, lacks imagination. Of course, you could go with Drew dies, straight to the point. I like it.
I think we need to hear about something a little more substantial. Yeah, what about your coffee? I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter because we've already established the coffee was fine, but...
Of course, when someone serves you coffee, you drink it. That's what my old boss always used to say. Never did get what he meant by it, though.
But you're still alive, which is to say you didn't die.
Of course not.
Yeah, I shouldn't have clicked on this one.
No point falling before you're a star. End quote.
Not exactly what I was getting at. What were you getting at then? Nothing. I know. I'm sorry. I just kind of clicked on it without thinking.
Oh, yes. There were 2 cups on the tray she brought, and one of the cups had Drew's signature painted on the side.
No chance the guest would take that one by mistake, I guess. Okay, we did establish the signature thing, I guess, but we already knew that. Not important. So brush will take to the coffee too. Doesn't like this is going to lead to much. Very well. Please continue with the testimony. Okay, well, we're gonna go back to that one, but let's press this one first. Can you say that for sure?
For sure. I'm sure. Drew's studio isn't a big place, kiddo. Except for the secret sex dungeon that nobody knows about. I'd known if somebody else had come in.
What if they'd been hiding there from before? Even if someone had been hiding in the studio, they hardly ever could have poisoned that mug without anyone noticing.
You think I, Spark Brushel, would miss something as obvious as that? No way!
Sure makes it sound exciting. Guess that's his job. There's only one moment we need to focus on, really. The moment when Drew Misham died? Exactly. There has to be something there. Yeah.
I know, I mean, it's called content, Apollo.
You wouldn't understand. You're not funny. Did I click on the wrong one? I don't know, we didn't. Let's say the moment of death. About when Mr. Misham passed away.
Oh boy, what a scene that was. You know his body exploded? Blood and gore everywhere. He puts his coffee mug down with the crash, right?
Yes, and then
the cold finger of death touches his spine. Life's flame sputters and fails. So cold was that touch he could not but tremble uncontrollably. Actually, life's flame is a little tired. Life's river froze over. Yeah, that's a go.
I think he's starting his article already. Could you describe that a little more simply?
As you can imagine, I was pretty surprised. He hit the floor, as they say. Artist seizure is final performance. End quote.
Atropine paralyzes the central nervous system. The body arches back like a bow. The limbs tremble. The throat burns.
That's quite enough of that.
All of us want to be able to get to sleep tonight. My throat kind of burns. You think I've been poisoned, Mr. Gavin?
Oh yeah, well I want details. Lots of juicy details.
For that you can listen to our last year's hit single, Atropine, My Love, by the Gavineers, available at all major musical outlets. The point here is the victim died of atropine poisoning. Well, Mr. Justice, how'd you find that testimony? Let's say it's important for now. Now, I don't really know where to go with that, if I'm being honest. What does the autopsy report say? Between 9 and 9:30, it's atropine poisoning. Okay, so this had poison on it. Okay, and this also had the same poison. I don't know. Please add it to the testimony. Very well. The court requests the witness add this account to his testimony. Those spasms. That was death by poison. I mean, he did say it paralyzes you, but you kind of tense up first, so... We don't really have any evidence. Deadly poison was found on the rim. Don't lick it. Now, he did say the mug dropped, right? Like, maybe why is the mug intact? I mean, it could just be that the mug's built different. Let's see what you say if we press you. You say it was definitely death by poison. How can you be so sure?
Hey, look, I'm a journalist. I've seen lots of things. I've had more than my share of experience with so-called poisonings. Man eats fishy fish, goes bye-bye. End quote.
Food poisoning doesn't count? Should I get him to talk about something else? Alright, just to see, let's do Star's coffee first. You say, Mr. Misham had the coffee too. But did you actually see him drink the coffee?
Of course. He who sees it wins, but he who says it wins bigger. End quote. I live in a man sees dog eat dog and writes about it world, yet. I guess I can't say I saw him drink it, really. He had one so-called sip, if that. Man puts lips to mug, drinks, end quote.
That poison is quite virulent, I hear. Just like me.
My stomach did a so-called somersault since I gulped down that much coffee without so much as a second glance at it. Maybe there's something there, some kind of trick. Even want to venture a guess for the record?
Does this guy have a pause button? I don't know. Doesn't seem that. He only had a sip. Do we have anything that proves he had more than a sip? I just want to see how the prompt gets phrased. Okay, immediately fell over.
You can go to the press with that one.
Your Honor, this is a vital piece of information. Add it to the testimony. I might have you add the other thing back to the testimony, though.
Vital, right.
Okay, he had one sip, if that. The next moment, he was on the floor. I mean, it still got coffee in it. Anything to prove he had more than one sip, or that he didn't die instantly. I mean, the autopsy report doesn't really give me anything, because I mean, between 9 and 9:30, that's not like a... Because we know the interview didn't even start until 9. And then this... I mean, I feel like this is not important yet. Looks like you have to take this back part off first to put a photo inside.
Have to be a really small photo to fit in there.
That pale bluish stain. Why would there be poison in a place like this?
Well, there's one obvious reason. Whoever put poison in the coffee wrote a bit on here too.
It's not very obvious, Trucy. I don't know, I feel like I'm just like completely forgetting about some aspect. Because it's been a little bit. Because I mean, like, the only thing I'm thinking of is that, like, okay, if he like died instantly, shouldn't he have like shouldn't the mug be like? It doesn't say anything about that on the evidence. Alright, we'll press and then I'm just going to present the mug just to eliminate the possibility. So either took a sip or he didn't and fell over.
Yes, indubitably. Just like that. Wham bam.
Mr. Misham drank the coffee and fell over immediately. I think Brush was telling the truth too. Okay. I'm going to say, then why does the coffee still have coffee in it? The problem with the testimony is already pretty obvious. Alright. Okay. You know what I have a problem with? The particular property of the poison used, atroquine. Oh, Prosecutor Gavin was quite clear about the poison. Lethal dosage paralyzes the central nervous system. You drank that. Even you, Mr. Josh, would be reduced to a quivering pile. Why are you using me as an example? Unfortunately, we weren't told everything. It was a vital omission in Prosecutor Gavin's information. An omission? Atroquine is as virulent as he says, but death doesn't come upon indigestion. Not immediately. Okay, see, I think they said that earlier, but I didn't remember. That's because atroquine is slow acting. Okay. Now, do I wish when you clicked on it, it said something about it? Because it doesn't say anything about it being slow acting, right? Yeah. Now, it should 100% remind you of that. For a game that is so absolutely convinced that people have, like, no memory whatsoever and they have a flashback every 4 seconds. Because, like, I think even if I remember that dialogue line, I would still be a little like, I don't know, because it doesn't say it in the evidence. Okay, no, it says slow acting. Never mind. Alright, I take it back. I just missed it. According to one forensic scientist, it's one of the most virulent poisons, but it's absorbed into the body astonishingly slow. It takes at least 15 minutes for the time of ingestion and adverse effects to show. Okay, so like I kind of vaguely remember that, but wasn't sure. But yeah, I was just reading over the slow acting part. We suppose that moment Mr. Mission slipped the coffee was when he sealed his fate. He still have time left to enjoy his last cup of joe. Yo, man is fucking jacked. Order, order, what's the meaning of this? What the defense says is correct. Well, that contradicts the entire testimony we just heard. Well, Mr. Brushel, anything to say on the record? Oh, acting. So S-L-O-A-C-T. It was virulent, all right. Even then, it had already been digging its claws into the journalist. We're going to scoop. So it would be that he licked the stamp beforehand, and that's what actually killed him? And the poison in the coffee was just a ruse? It's Brushel, yeah? Her Brushel. Let's take a trip back down memory lane. Huh? Did the victim really die the instant he took a sip? Think it over. This is vital. You know what I think? I think that was a not-so-subliminal suggestion. End quote. I admit it does cause a problem if he died when you say he died. I'd be forced to say, yeah, to my simple case. And when you would be forced to say farewell to your article. Hey, Gavin, you're being a little sus here, man.
Hey, come again?
Can't write a story based on conjecture, can you? And as the case drags on, other reporters will pick up the scent. You'll be forced to kiss your exclusive scoop goodbye. Gavin, I went to bat for you. Why are you suddenly being a piece of shit? Gavin.
Scoop? Look, wait. Just wait a second. Wait 1 second.
We're waiting. Out with it.
I think I just recalled an important detail. A revival recollection. End quote. A story's survival. End quote.
Attorney utterly confused. End quote.
Actually, I did notice something when I visited the studio. I heard a poison that takes its sweet time, see?
But not what I've been saying for the last few minutes, apparently. Mr. Brushel, are you saying you noticed something that explains what happened?
You bet I am. The antidote for a poisonous contradiction. End quote, you might say.
Or I still have no idea what you're talking about, end quote, I might say.
I figured it out, but only after an in-depth interview. See? Thanks to my journalism skills, I know who poisoned that coffee.
Order! As far as I can tell, the witness is standing by his testimony. That Mr. Misham died the instant after he drank.
Of course I'm standing by my testimony, and my dream of exclusive rights to the story.
Suppose it was too much to hope for. What was? Of course he wouldn't choose a simpler case, not him. Him? Phoenix Wright. Who else? A Chung, Herr Brushel. Report for us if you would. What is it that you noticed?
The court's a critical trial of the juris system. I'm afraid no room for doubt is permissible. You'll testify to the court about what you noticed. When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Misham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. I thought nothing of it at the time, of course. Now that I think about it, what if he was writing a suicide note?
Okay, so there's our in. Suicide note?
Yeah, he had this long look on his face. Man's face, inscrutable, as a quadratic equation. End quote.
Suicide? Poor Mr. Misham.
That means Vera's innocent.
Did someone commit suicide in the middle of an interview? I mean, if they wanted to be a fucking straight baller, maybe. Very well, you may begin your call examination. I mean, what a way to go out. Hey, here's my interview. Bang! Blows his brains out in front of you. Go down all time. Okay, so we'll just go through it from the start. Even though we kind of already see our in. Is there anyone at the studio other than Mr. Misham?
Well, his daughter Vera, of course.
Was anyone besides Mr. Misham and Vera present?
Not a single one. Not a cat, not a rat, not even a mouse.
The only person who didn't belong to that studio there was you, wasn't it, Mr. Brushel?
Ugh, I know what you're doing. I know your game. That attorney uses classic Ramsden phenomenon ploy.
You intend to suggest this report is a suspect. I'm sure you also intend to present evidence supporting that assertion, correct? In the meantime, let's move along, shall we? Damn, hit us with the evidence word. I hate that word, man. I hate when they ask me for facts to back up my crazy assumptions. So he put the letter away when he saw you.
Early reporter gets worm, end quote. That's my secret.
I'm not sure I follow.
It's the night of the interview. I arrive 15 minutes ahead of schedule. The handle turns, the door opens, and I barge in.
Are you sure that's okay to do? I mean, isn't that unlawful entry? Really?
I just pretend I'm a JRPG protagonist, and I'm here to take their treasure, and they will be none the wiser, because I am going to kill the ancient evil, and if they don't let me take their loot, then I will let the ancient evil take out their house in particular, and only protect the houses of those who let me access their secret chests. It's called the hero tax. Look it up, nerd. Mr. Misham, you sure seem to think so. You should have seen him. He crammed his letter into that yellow envelope as fast as he could.
Yellow envelope, eh? We don't have a yellow envelope.
I know a secret when I spot one, and that was one.
It does seem significant. Well, Mr. Justice. I wonder. It does have the ring of something important. Not yet. Because I feel like the other line is still more important. I can't see what, though. Nothing seemed unusual. Won't be necessary to add this to the testimony, Your Honor. I mean, granted, I guess there's no reason not to add it, but... we'll put a pin in that for now. Because that could be a red herring. You didn't think anything might be wrong at the time.
Hey, when I go in for an interview, that's what I'm there to do. Interviewer finds looking more effective than caring. End quote.
So what about now? Thinking back on it, did you sense anything strange in Mr. Misham's behavior?
Well, yeah. That's why I'm telling you all this to begin with.
Very well, continue the testimony.
What if he was writing a suicide note?
A suicide note?
Well, yeah, don't quote me or anything. I'm just saying it's a possibility, you know?
So you didn't actually check the letter?
Of course not. It was sealed. Contents of can unopened until can is open. End quote. Or can unknown. I guess of course it's unopened until it's open. That seems kind of obvious.
You can always check the label. Do you think Mr. Misham was writing a suicide note? If he was, that would solve the case in a jiffy.
Kind of makes you wonder about that letter.
Okay, so he didn't really say anything there, but was it this one that had the yellow thing? Okay, I didn't know if like maybe there were going to be like two prompts that had I thought there was another line after the suicide note thing. I guess not. But yeah, add the testimony.
Okay, add it to your testimony. My account comes free of charge. It was a yellow envelope. I heard it. It was left at the crime scene.
A yellow envelope at the crime scene? Well, I ain't seen it. And you saw him seal this yellow envelope with a letter?
Hey, don't look at me like that. I saw what I saw.
Paul, you think this might be our big break, yeah? What I need to do is show some decisive evidence now. A yellow envelope? It's empty.
Well,
I mean, I guess we present this, because I mean, the idea is that this is where you put a stamp, and the stamp had poison on it, but like... Okay. I mean, this is, yeah, I mean, like, I didn't feel like it made sense, but I'm also, I have no clue what else to present here. A yellow envelope. Because, I mean, there's this, but it's red and old. The enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp. Okay, so maybe there's a yellow envelope in... Okay, okay. So it says there's an envelope in here. Alright, I didn't know about that. But didn't it also say this thing was, like, old as hell? Because, I mean, they said this thing was, like, dated 7 years ago. Why would he just now be... I don't think they would deliver that. And it just so happens there was a single letter in a desk drawer at the scene. In a red envelope. What? I mean, is that a contradiction? It could just be like a different envelope. Prosecutor Gavin? Yes. Was a yellow envelope found at the scene of the crime? I mean, I just feel like that's not a contradiction. Saying, hey, okay, you said you saw a yellow envelope. Well, it just so happens there was actually a red envelope there that was old as hell and hidden in a desk. So, yeah, what about that? Like, I feel like that's not a contradiction. Fortunately, no, but her forehead. Especially since they already told us the envelope, this one was old as hell. Like, I mean, it doesn't say it here, but she said it was dated 7 years ago in the actual dialogue. I do remember that. At least I'm pretty sure she said that. It's easy to mistake the color for an envelope. I guess, but not this envelope. You see, it was postmarked already, 7 years ago.
Well, Mr. Brushel, I can explain that. Drew, right? He wanted to get that letter in an envelope pronto. Get it out of my beady eyes, right? So he grabbed the nearest envelope and crammed away.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. What about the whole red and yellow envelope contradiction, chump? Well, he could put the yellow envelope in the red one. Mr. Justice, have you anything to say to the witness's claim? That night, the victim put a letter he'd been writing in a red envelope. I mean, yeah, it's possible. It's entirely possible.
But Apollo, we checked the contents of that envelope yesterday, didn't we?
You're right.
But it says there's an envelope.
Please, and send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp. Like, there could be another envelope in this one. Because the way it makes it sound is that he was sent an envelope, and they're wanting him to mail that one back. I mean, it's a little weird, I guess, but it's not, like, out of the possibility. As it just so happens, the defense team investigated the contents of this envelope with the assistance of a forensic scientist. What? Note that this letter is addressed to Drew Misham. Why would he address a letter to himself? Let alone send a suicide note to himself.
I've been scooped!
Order, order, order! Mr. Bushel, can you explain this to the court?
Oh my, how could I have forgotten? I suppose this happens to the best of us. Reporter gets old, forgets lots. End quote.
Yes, I'm still waiting for an explanation, Mr. Bushel. Or Brushel.
Well, that's the thing, see. After he put his letter in the envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his dress drawer for something.
His desk drawer?
A stamp, a so-called postage stamp. End quote.
A stamp? Whatever for?
Well, to mail his letter. What else? And then, well, yes, I think I saw him put it in this letterbox. Yeah, it was a yellow envelope, and he put it in that box.
Oh, this yellow letter has nothing to do with the case.
Oh, how I wish it did. Just think that if it were a suicide note, what a story. Star writes suicide note in front of reporter. False. End quote.
As I was saying, that has nothing to do with this case. That said... Yes, Your Honor? It makes you wonder about the contents of that red envelope. I'm just gonna rip that bad boy open right now. $100,000? What? Maybe I should be a painter. Bailiff, fetch me some watercolors. $100,000 is quite a good deal of money. This is from 7 years ago, yeah?
So am I finished here? I was just thinking of, going home to start writing. I don't hear any objections, so, see ya.
I hate to state what should be pretty obvious to anyone. When you catch the scent of a story, you make that rather unique face.
Come on! Attorney has active imagination, little else. End quote.
Even I noticed something, and my eyes aren't where they used to be. I'm trying to understand what all this perceiving stuff is about. Oh, yeah. Ace Judge. Or Ace... Judge Ace Attorney. I need a name. I guess I could be Judge Justice. Yeah, Judge Justice. Much better than Apollo. I'm named after like the sun or something. Loser. I'm much cooler than him. Judge's active imagination. End quote. Please continue with your testimony. Tell us about the scent of a story.
Hey, I'm the one asking the question here. Usually.
He actually took a bit of work to get a thumbs up on the interview. Wait, I feel like we're just like, we've transitioned so weirdly. This feels very awkward. Like, why is he testifying about how he got the interview now? Why is this relevant? I feel like this doesn't connect to the... I mean, I guess it's that... Because, I mean, there was the obvious contradiction of, like... This is empty, so... He didn't put the letter in there. Now, in theory, he could have put the letter in there and it was taken out, but, like... Our evidence says that's not what happened. So, I don't know, I feel like they were, like, lining up for the easy contradiction, and now it's just, like, we've pivoted to something completely random. Which is, like, why do we care about how he got the interview?
Reporter leverages story, gets his interview. End quote. The story concerned a certain case from 7 years ago. The red envelope probably had something to do with it. Say what you will, but Drew's time was without compare.
So you threatened to go to the press with this story? That's how you got your interview. Blackmail.
Well, yeah. I mean, no. It wasn't exactly black. I mean, I'm not,
Something wrong, Mr. Russell?
Look. This is my story.
Oh, God. Oh, man, that's a line that triggers me.
My tidbit. Journalist info is livelihood. End quote.
I see.
Why you have you chatting away in here? What's going on out there? What if some Wally Woodsworth or Sally Scooper gets wind of my story? They could be going to press while I'm going to waste.
See, in any other game, that would be like a joke, like, these are ridiculous names to imply that they're journalists, but like those are probably presumably real people in this game. I mean, I'm waiting for them to show up. Maybe they have already and I don't remember them. It's possible. The court feels your pain, Mr. Russell. Mr. Justice, let's pick up the pace. Certain case 7 years ago. Wait, 7 years ago? I mean, you can really cut down on the time it takes to write your game if you just have 10% of the word count be the phrase 7 years ago, and then another 20% be flashbacks, and then another 30% be the same unfunny panty joke. I mean, that's half your script right there. More than half. Okay. Yep.
Story concerning a certain case from 7 years ago.
Yeah, that line seems to be the most... Well, this one and that one. This is the one where he's making kind of weird poses. But let's press through everything first. For the sake of content. The victim, Drew Misham, had an aversion to reporters.
Boy, I guess not even my considerable charms did much for him. Until I finally got my thumbs up, that is.
Maybe you can elaborate on that a bit for us? Exactly what sort of story was this?
Oh, a little one, like I said. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing in between. End quote. I might have suggested I had a lead on this particular story, but I didn't threaten or cajole or nothing, honest.
So a suggestion was enough to get her an interview. Mr. Misham must have really wanted to keep it under wraps. A certain case 7 years ago? Tell us, what case?
Let me state one thing, Mr. Attorney, and you can quote me on this. I can't talk about that case.
Why not?
It's about journalistic pride, and staunchness, and credibility, and connections. Journalist reveals source only over his dead body. End quote. So what'll it be? Gonna strangle me? Dead men don't tell tales, Mr. Attorney.
Sounds pretty determined not to talk. Chances of breaking his will aren't looking good. It's something to do with it. On the one hand, we have your story. On the other, this letter. What makes you think the two are related?
I was just saying it's possible. Call it reporter's intuition. End quote. I say a lot of things. You're gonna pick all of them apart. Be my guest.
All of them? No, just the incredibly suspicious ones. Anything else to add about Mr. Misham? Okay, and then we'll look at this one. Just how amazing was Mr. Misham's talent?
Yeah. Oh, wee boy. I mean, he's a star, man. A star. Flow of his brush is like a great undulating river across the canvas. Artist paints, lights up, studio-like sun. End quote.
This guy's full of wacky gestures. That one just now was wackier than usual. Looks kind of nervous to me, Apollo. Definitely. Sensing something different than before here. Maybe it's time to bring out the you-know-what. This one has a bad taste in my mouth. All makes sense. Nothing jumps out as ridiculous. Wonder what the story he's talking about is. Must have been good to get an interview with a famous recluse like that. Something powerful enough to drag Drew Misham out of hiding? I wonder. Maybe it had something to do with Mr. Misham's art. Okay. Was this the last one? Pretty sure it was. Ah, you're being vibed! I don't know, we'll look at hands first. I'm seeing nothing on the hands. Okay. Mouth. Is his teeth gonna wiggle? Any sort of nose twitching? I'm not really seeing anything. I feel like it is one of those things where it's like when you're staring so hard you get like blind. Maybe the ears wiggle? Do the ears wiggle? Any wiggling? Any wiggling ears? I'm not seeing any movement. What about the other hand? Can I see it? No. Does his brush move? Doesn't really make much sense, but... Yeah, I feel like I'm just missing it completely. I remember I looked, it was like the only other one we kind of struggled on was that one with Lamuror, and I remember looking back at the video and editing, and I'm like, oh my god, the movement is so fucking obvious, how did I not see it? For some reason it's just like, sometimes it's a light, like I don't know. Oh, I didn't mean to back out, whoops. Yeah, and that was the last one. Because, I mean, you made it sound like we should use it on this line. Because even though I feel like this line was a little more sus, or even this one, but I mean, they basically told me to do it here. What are we missing? I mean, because I looked at the pin and the ears. The eyes don't seem to do anything. The hair doesn't move. I mean, I really feel like it should be the toothbrush. I'm just not seeing any movement. Like, I don't see shit. Oh, maybe the throat? We never looked at the throat. I do wish it went a little faster. I mean, the game told me to do it here. So I don't know. This is arm flex? I mean, I have no clue why this would move, but I mean, the only thing we have to look at is, like, his elbow. That's all we got. Because, I mean, I didn't even really think this was the most suspicious line, but, like, the game told me to do it here. I don't know, I'm just clearly missing it. Right? Because, I mean, what is he? He basically tells you to do it at this spot. This guy's full of wacky gestures. That one just now was wackier than usual. Something different here than before. Because, I mean, I feel like this line is, like, more sus. But they're telling me to do it at the other spot. I'm not seeing anything. Because we can't go lower here. I mean, his mouth is moving. That's a little sus. I don't see a damn thing happening. Alright, we're gonna pause. What? This is not correct? I just clicked on his hand, but like at just a random spot. It would never showed any like twitch or movement or nothing. Don't yell all of a sudden like that. Give a guy a heart attack. Like, I better get penalized for this. Sorry, it's just the way you're moving just now. It was particularly suspicious? Okay. I'm just sort of that averagely suspicious? Alright, my mistake. Alright. Okay. I was almost mad. Because there's no movement on this frame. And even the other frame, I didn't see anything. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know. You can't see any blue paste on his face. You're hiding something.
York!
No, I don't understand. There's nothing here. Because I mean, like, nothing. I don't see any twitches. I don't perceive any movement. I'm apparently a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Like, there ain't a damn thing moving here. And then there's nothing here. I mean, his mouth is opening. There's that. His arm doesn't do anything. His other arm doesn't do anything. There's no throat gulp. I don't know what you want from me, man. Todd, does it have a mind of its own? Looking like the answer's no. But I mean, they keep telling me to use the thing. And the other prompts, I didn't notice anything either. The pen doesn't do anything, the ears don't wiggle, the eye doesn't move, the nose doesn't twitch. Maybe do the eyebrows do anything? Doesn't look like it. There's the shiny bald spot. Do anything? I don't know. If I click on your toothbrush again. I don't know. What the fuck ever? Is it... What? I don't even know what I'm looking at. I mean, there's something happens here, but I can't even tell what it's supposed to be. Nothing even moves. It's like the shadow gets slightly... This better. What in the fuck are you talking about? Holy shit, that's so bad. This game is actually ass. No takebacks. I don't even know what that... Yeah, well... A man can't help his glands, you know? It's supposed to be sweat? So wait, the sweat appears and goes away? And yeah, let's put a... in the... What in the fuck ever? What? Why can't you just have him wiggle his finger? This mechanic is not any good. What? It's supposed to be sweat? What? Why can't you be... He has like 80,000 things it could be. Like, it could be like he wiggles his ears, his hair starts moving, his pen starts moving, his eyes start bugging out, his teeth do something. Like, anything you could do that would be more plausible than he sweats and then sucks it back up into his body mid-sentence? I wouldn't have even, like, I've been sitting here for so fucking long. I just kind of, like, when I was... Because I've been looking at his elbows. Because I'm like, I can't see his hands or nothing. I stared at his shoulders for a while. And so then I just was like kind of moving the thing across to go back up. And I noticed like a little thing of movement like right at then. And then at first I was like, okay, was that just me? Because when you're moving it around, sometimes it seems like stuff's moving, but it's not just because of the weird like vibey shake effect. That shit is so bad. At least it's the end of the video, so like my bad mood won't last for too long, but like I'm tilted for the next like, you know, until the next video at least.
That's ridiculous.
Evidence time. Let's show our Mr. Misham's true talent lay. Because it's like, this is what pissed me off, because I even tried to present evidence. Because I'm like, maybe it's just like a red herring when them telling you to do this. And so like, let's... You know, I just threw out some evidence, like I threw out this to contradict, because it's like his statement already can be contradicted. Like this whole perceived part is completely unnecessary. like completely superfluous? Because we already know he's not talented. So like I tried to present this as like, you know, to segue into the forgery stuff, and then it penalized me, and then I just, you know, restarted the game so we didn't get the HP loss.
I can't help but wonder what the court's supposed to conclude from this set.
What the fuck are you talking about? How does this not work? We're supposed to prove that he's a forger. Here's evidence of him forging.
I think you made a horrible mistake. Manbird's Bridge forgets to cross.
What? Ah! I'm so mad. That shouldn't be. Have evidence showing the talent mentioned in that letter? I mean, that doesn't prove forgery. Did we ever look at this? We didn't look at this. What? How is it not? Why is it this one? It should be the one that's a forger. Two problems with this painting. First, it wasn't painted by Mr. Misham. Second is that there was another painting in the studio. Why would the other painting work? Which looked exactly like this one, except it was only half done. And we have a letter discussing payment of $100,000, which is just a certain business operation. It's just so fucking bad. I feel like we've regressed. All the progress made in this game gameplay-wise is gone out the window because this one section is god-awful. And I'm just tilted because I've been looking at this man for like 15 minutes. Because of... Yeah, that's all, Your Honor. Yeah, I'm done. Get me out of here. Nope, nope. Fucking let's play over. See ya.